Hello everyone and welcome into today's video where we are going to be taking a look at some very interesting developments on the Tesla stock price charts. But just before that, I want to show you also the situation on the stock market as a whole, and also towards the end we will check out some fundamental news regarding Tesla, so not just the price charts, to give you a full picture about Tesla stock. And as always, an early like on the video is very much appreciated, so thank you for doing so, and let's go. So first of all, here we have the S&P 500 index, and we can see that since the March 2020 lows over here we've went up in pretty much a straight line, which is very unusual, and even more so in the past couple of months since the end of 2020 here in November. This is really a straight line upwards with the breaking of very important levels over here, which we've talked previously on my channel. These go all the way back to the 2008. So breaking of this resistance was very important, and now we are continuing to break out of this very long price channel, and the form is still looking very solid. We can see that we are still making higher highs and higher lows. So the outlook on the S&P 500 is looking still very optimistic as it was a couple of months ago. We can also say that a similar situation is with the NASDAQ 100 index. However, here we can see that we are starting to break down this support a little bit. There was this huge leg up for the past couple of months from the middle of May actually, and we've broke this resistance over here, and the price just kept on rising pretty much in a straight line. So this is to be expected, some short-term corrections. However, still we are making higher highs and higher lows, as is the S&P 500. Now if we take those two indexes and make a ratio out of them, we get this NASDAQ 100 divided by S&P 500 ratio, and this is a very important one because here we can see the top, the absolute top of the dot-com bubble over here. So this was for a long time the highest peak for the tech sector here in 2000, and since then there was a huge correction in the tech sector for actually a couple of years until the 2002, and since then the price of the tech sector in general kept on rising, as we can see here. And recently we've actually got into this space again to those highs of the year 2000, and we can see that we are now at the moment holding above this range, which I highlighted over here. So this is, I would say, a critical range for the price of this ratio, because if we drop below this ratio over here, I expect a very large correction in the tech sector. So this is kind of a in-between channel, so if we are inside of this, the price can go either way. However, now we are hovering above this price channel, so that's a very good sign so far. And if we take a closer look, we can see that in the middle of May we were actually right in the middle of this channel. However, we were able to jump up and break out of this price channel, so that's a very good sign for the tech sector mainly, but also for the whole stock market. And as long as this ratio keeps above this channel over here, I will remain pretty bullish on the stock market and tech sector in general. So that's also where the Tesla stock price is derived from. And also supporting this thesis is the development on the US dollar. So we can see here on the DXY, we can see a quite large correction over here in the past couple of days. We've hit this resistance, it seems, over here. So the dollar keeps being quite weak, which is great for the stock market. They have pretty much inverse correlation. So if the dollar goes down, usually the stock market goes up, and vice versa. So if this trend continues, I would expect the dollar heading back to these supports over here at the 89 or 90 points over here. But as long as the dollar makes lower highs and lower lows, that would mean that it's downtrending, which is also good for the stock market and the Tesla stock price. And finally we have here the US government bonds, the 10-year yield bonds, and we can see that they go all the way back to the 80s and 90s, etc. And here is pretty well defined support and resistance of this downtrend downtrending price channel. And if we zoom in to today's situation, we can see that there was a false breakout over here inside this price channel, and we've actually came back down over here. So the yields are correcting again as they were at the beginning of 2020. Over here there was a huge drop in those 10-year yield bonds. However, again, similar to the US dollar, they have kind of an inverse correlation with the stock market, because if those yields go down, it means that it is way cheaper for companies to borrow money, which is obviously beneficial for the stock market, and vice versa. If those 10-year yields, which also we can say are interest rates, go up, it's much more difficult for companies to borrow money, and therefore the stock price can start to trend downwards. So that's it from the stock market outlook, and now let's take a closer look at the Tesla stock price chart and the new interesting developments we have here. So as we can clearly see, there is this very well defined huge wedge pattern over here. I've been looking at this for the past year or so. So we have this resistance and this support down over here, and if we zoom closer, we can see that we have a breakout now right over here. So we are starting to pick up some momentum with Tesla stock price finally, after this quite a long sideways consolidation since the beginning of 2021. And we can see that we've had a similar consolidation over here in 2020. So in the summer of 2020 there was this small wedge over here, then we've had a bull run and another wedge over here, and I believe this could be a similar situation with this huge wedge pattern over here, where we could start to see Tesla stock price starting to attack the $1,000 again after the split. And if we zoom in a little bit, we can see that the important levels which have been broken are these $700 one. We can see that this support has been now broken. If we manage to stay above this one, it's looking very good for the Tesla stock price, and also remaining above this uptrending support would be very bullish as well. And also finally we can take a look at the fib retracement over here. So if we take this like upwards and pull down towards these levels of 566 or so, we can see that here we have a very well defined channels with multiple tags. So in this red one over here, we have this tag at the bottom over here, and also down here. This channel above had a few tags over here as well, and also now recently as a bit of a resistance. But also here in the beginning of 2021, up here we have also a couple of tags. So this could be quite useful to look at the future possible developments. So now we can see that this level of 676 could act as a support for the price, and we have the next targets over here, so that would be around 750 and above that at $800 for the near future. And if this run is gonna be very strong as it was previously after this breakout over here, I would expect the price to start attacking this range of above $1,000 to $1,300, but this is still quite far out in the future. Now the price can still remain trading sideways, we don't know, but as I showed at the beginning, the overall outlook of the stock market looks pretty good. So we could see the Tesla stock price attacking these levels I highlighted over here. And now let's jump into more fundamental news about Tesla to get a better idea about the stock price from the fundamentals point of view. So here we have statistic from May 2021 that the Model 3 and Model Y were the world's best selling EVs, which is quite a big achievement and by quite a large margin as well. I believe that this number 3 is from China, so they have quite a large sales in China of EVs. And after that there is a huge gap of nothing leading to the rest of the places, so that's a quite nice margin from Tesla. Also the Model 3 was the best selling EV in Q2 in Norway and actually in Spain as well in Q2 with 13% market share, so that's very exciting as well. We can see that it was by a large margin the best-selling model. And to complete the list, it was also the top UK's best-selling car in June 2021 and second best-selling car period, not just EVs, but best-selling car in Israel in June. And it was just 10 units shy of the first place after the Toyota Corolla, which is the number one or was in June. So that's very exciting. People seem to like very much the Tesla Model 3 especially. And I think once you tried some Tesla products similar to Apple, for example, it's very hard to go back to use some other vehicles from another vehicle makers, because I feel they have this very specific user experience as, for example, Apple does with their products. And finally, we have a nice future projection of the battery cells production of the 4680 cells. That Tesla want to produce over 50 gigawatt hours of battery cells per year by end of 2022, so by the end of next year. We know from the earnings call from the Q2 that the 4680s are delayed a little bit, so they will probably not make it into their cars in 2021. So that means that the Cybertruck is delayed a little bit and the Tesla Model Plaid Plus was cancelled. But from the Drew's comment from the earnings call, we could hear that is now a question of when and not if. So the 4680s will be happening for sure, and it's just a matter of time to fine-tune the production line for these large productions in Berlin and Austin probably as well. So that's very exciting that Tesla will now start to produce their own batteries, and one of the most complex and best batteries out there on the market. They are really pushing the innovation on all fronts, so that's very exciting in my opinion as well. And also we have a confirmation from Elon Musk that there will be this Tesla AI Day held on August 19th, so that there will be also, I believe, plenty of very interesting information there, which is now just 2 weeks away. And this is it from today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. If so, I would really appreciate if you smash the like button, because it helps this channel out in the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you want to see more future content like this, you can subscribe. And with this, I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!